of trauma anyway in our childhood. So, and when you don't have this help or you don't know what's going on inside, and when you say something to somebody and they just judge you without even being in your shoes, this is what breaks people down inside and even possibly leads to suicide.
Exactly.
So I want to start it off like this. It's very serious.
Well, you guys kicked in the door, man. I mean, y'all kicked in the door. I'm ready to call the police on you. You kicked in my door. Hey, but I tell you what, man, it is absolutely, you guys both hit on some solid points, man. And I think, man, also, too, I want to also say this, man, is that people sometimes suffer in silence because I can't trust you with my truth, right?
That's right.
You can't trust a person with the truth. We just say, you say something, man, I'm not feeling it. I'm this, I'm that. Oh, you ought to do this, or you ought to do that. And they judge you based upon their paradigm, based upon what they think you ought to be doing. And so you end up, again, just going through this stuff all alone because you don't feel like you have nobody that really understands what you're dealing with. And that's the hardest part, man. That's the hardest thing I think that we have to understand. Catch people on the level that they're on, okay? Just don't dismiss it as, oh, they just don't act right. Or what they used to say back in the day, oh, they just special, right? You know, for we have to figure out, though, man, you know, what is really going on. Let's sit down and have the conversation. Let's dig a little bit deeper than the surface because it may be something there. What happens when all those people, just on the news this morning, I saw this lady killed herself. No, well, she killed her husband, killed 2 kids, husband and 2 kids, then she killed herself, right? And then everybody's saying, oh, the kids are so nice. Oh, they always waved and they were so nice. And I don't even understand. I don't know what's going on. Okay, you can put lipstick on a pig and it's still a pig, right? And so we don't really understand what's going on sometimes because we don't see till after the fact. You know, we don't know till after the fact because, again, people hide all that stuff. See, we walking around with a bunch of scars, man. A bunch of scars.
Right.
Dressed up.
A bunch of scars.
Dressed up, looking good. Scarred up nonetheless. Scarred up nonetheless.
Right.
You know, and that's the thing, though, man. So I would like to come in with that particular one there is that we have to recognize those scars. Just because they're covered up by fine linen, there's still scars there. So we have to really be careful how we tread with people and really just sit down and just listen. Just really just listen to people's truth again without, I know sometimes we're so quick to want to say something. We're so quick to want to give our opinion. I get it because I talk a lot. I get it. I totally do get it. But at the same time, though, man, we have to be mindful to say, okay, if you coming to me with something that that's really important to you, that's something that's really on your heart, I'm not going to abuse that truth. I'm not going to abuse that trust that you have in me to say that by me just having to say something, oh, you this, oh, you that, and then I mess that person up, right? Because they may have extended that effort to speak to a bunch of people, and they just found you, and then you're going to shoot them down too, so it's all, again, that you say, Brandon, that's why sometimes people commit suicide because, okay, no one will miss me anyway. No one would care about me no way. No one listens to me anyway. So therefore, they end up doing something to themselves or other people, you know, because they don't feel like you don't care. So we have to really start caring more about, you know, a little more empathy. A little bit more empathy, I think, will help a lot with a lot of the things we're dealing with and address the elephant in the room. If something is wrong, let's go get the help that's needed because there are some free resources out here as well that you can grab a hold of to take care of yourself. But you have to be willing to do it and pull yourself up by your own bootstrap and say, I need to do better. But have people, a group and a network, right? Support system, if you will, right? Around you that say, you know what, we can do better and we're going to help you do better because we don't understand everything that's going on, but we're going to be there for you every step of the way.
Right. And that right there is to say, because we all are familiar with the changing images of psychological slavery. And the reason it's called changing images is because it's psychological. You're not going to see that same picture every time. As time progresses and these conditions not addressed, it's going to have a different face to it, right? And because it stems back to what we said earlier, what Brandon said earlier, with slavery, right? Now, this is the situation. This is the situation that our people were in. When you oppress a people, right, and then you turn around and label their reaction to that oppression as a mental illness, the backdrop is they suppress the feelings and emotions and everything that it causes within them. And this is what produced a suicide. This is what produced killers, because it was a time to when, you couldn't express yourself like that because they would just throw you in a nut house. And you just be forgotten about. And that goes back to what you just said, Shelton.
Yeah.
No support system. It was a time where there was no support system for our people when they was going through those challenges.
Post-traumatic slave disorder.
Generation after generation after generation. And it leads us to what we got today. You got clinical depression. You got anxiety disorders. You got bipolar disorder. You got all of this. And it was all stemmed from, it was a time where being oppressed, if you reacted after that, you were still labeled as that was called a mental illness. You were still said to have a mental deficiency. Now, that's messed up. Because you only react. If you stick your hand in some fire, of course it's going to be hot. You're going to move your hand back. But for them to move their hand back, that was stigmatized as like you were rebelling, like you got a mental illness. You're supposed to just take that pain. You see what I'm saying? Right. Imagine over 400 years of going through that psychologically. Yeah, exactly. That's why they call it the change in images, because we can't see what happened 400 years ago, but we can see what's going on today.
We see the results of a lot of it, though. We see the results of a lot of it. I tell you what, man, before Brandon gets his point, Christy Bissell was all over your point, Vincent, before you even said what you said, man. She had commented, when you talk about mental illness in the black community, I think you have to begin with the experience of trauma and how trauma continues to abound in their experience in their everyday lives. So we just hit the point, because think about it. Say if we had slavery, right? Okay, you got free, slavery done, we're good. You guys go free. Here's your 40 acres and your mule. Go forth and be productive, right? And have this great life. Right. That didn't happen. On top of that, we're going to give you Jim Crow. We're going to give you racism. We're going to give you a messed up prison system. We're going to give you this. We're going to give you that. Now they got you. Now they've given us hip hop. Right, with the stuff that's in it that doesn't benefit us anyway, because all we do is talk about all the negative things and all the negative words. And as we talk about, Brandon, if people know the history of all these negative things they say, they wouldn't do them. They wouldn't say them. And so again, that's oppression, right? That's oppression. Now I was called a slave. I've been called nigga this, and now I have conversations with other people. Nigga, now we saying it in a good way though. We saying it because we take ownership of that word. You know, I lost a fan of my show, man, of Think About It Radio, man, because me and a friend of mine, me and my co-host, Mr. B. Breezy, had a conversation about that word or whatever, and she was going back to the history of the word nigga, niggas, niggas, how we used to, back in the day, how they used to use it, in the African language or whatever. And I was just saying, though, letting her know that it wasn't said in this particular way, and especially we're around mixed company using a word that has so much hate attached to that word, that has to subconsciously do something to you. Because again, out of all the words in the English language, out of all the things that made it through history that came and fell off, right? Okay, why did that word still hang around? Why is that still around, right? That's basically like you saying, okay, Brandon, you going to a party, right? You're going to get dressed, you're finna go out, whatever. You got your cross colors on. They're going to look at you like you're crazy. Why you got cross colors on, brother? They ain't doing that no more. Right? You got your cross colors on and your boss jeans, right? They ain't wearing that no more. Right. So why you saying that word and you putting that negative word on? So why I think that has to go away too. And I think that still adds to the trauma though, man. Because as you say, there's no true healing. We got pain on top of pain, on top of pain, on top of pain, on top of pain. So either you get numb to that pain or you succumb to the pain.
Right.
Go ahead, Mr. Brandon. I'm sorry, man. Go ahead, bro.
And like y'all brothers saying, y'all hitting on all the points, but I want to bring a few more things. You hit on about makeup too.
Yes,
there was a book called Why We Wore the Mask, and that's kind of hitting on what Vincent was saying about, during slavery. They say, we wore the mask. We pretend.
Mm-hmm.
We had to pretend to be, docile and meek. Even if some of them wasn't, they had to pretend in order to survive. So a lot of African Americans, we've been in survival mode, So you surviving and you for years. But I want to say, speaking of makeup, and I want to use this at a metaphorical sense. Makeup is to cover up stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So even when a woman wears makeup, not all the time, but some of them they want to cover up, their scars or whatever. So, but on another level, we covering up daddy issues. A lot of sisters we covering up poverty-stricken childhood.
Yeah.
A lot of sisters covering up sexual abuse.
Yeah.
Which is swept under the rug. Now it's boys too. And covering up low self-esteem. So, and I want to say something about that really happened to me during my childhood. What I seen my mother, bro. And this is what we talking about trauma. I seen my mother get stabbed in the eye, bro. You know what I'm saying? By our close relatives, and they got into it. And this true story. I talk about it in my song, and I talk about it in my book. And it was adults standing around. Bro, I wasn't about 11 years old. I took the knife out of my mama's eye. You know what I mean? Blood splashed on my shirt. You know, that was a traumatic experience. And a lot of times, I didn't think about it too much after that. So, like you're saying, becoming numb to this. I ran to my grandma's house. She soothed me and everything. So, seeing that, bro, I thought my mama was going to die.
Right.
This is what we talking about, this traumatic experience. You know, I knew about my uncle. My uncle had got stabbed. I talk about all this in the song. I had a close friend of mine get stabbed the next year. We just, like 12 or 13. He got stabbed in his chest. He could have got, you know, he thought he was going to die. You know what I mean? So, you know, when this is what we talking about, mental illness, and I'm going to talk about a few signs before I pass the mic.
Right.
That's how you know mental illness. Some of the symptoms, withdrawal. When, you know, you see people who have been outgoing, they start withdrawing.
Right.
They feeling disconnected to people. They mood swing changes.
Right.
Excessive worrying and fearing. When you see people who are always worried and fear, they say this is one of the signs. Or excessive sadness. You know, you see people going from highs to lows. They say this is some of the symptoms. You know, when I was doing the research about mental illness. So again, we got to educate ourselves. And alcoholism, you know, they ran in my family. You know, learn about your family history. Yeah. And a lot of people, they numb their pain. Going back to slavery again. That's the only time they got off, on Sundays. And they was giving liquor, strong liquor, after church. You know, you study the history. Yeah. So a lot of this stuff plays into why, and I got a lot of Indian blood, you know, mixed in my family. So, you know, remember, they put them on the reservation.
I knew you had good hair. I knew that. I'm just messing with you.
but, you know, they put them on the reservations. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. And when they put them on the reservations, that's how they, you know, because they took their land, they became alcoholics. And then, you know, make my career, this is a whole other level. So they, you know, these people deal with trauma too. Any type of people being oppressed deal with trauma. So we talk about slavery, but we can talk about the household. And when I grew up in Prince Hall, boy, all I seen was violence. Like I say, I seen my mama fall to her knees, bro. I was so young. Every time I seen somebody get stabbed in a movie in their face, I thought they was going to die. So that was a very traumatic experience for me. This is even before prison, you know what I mean? So, you know, I've seen a lot of this stuff. So we wonder why we suffer like this. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm bringing this point. You know, this is very, in prison too. There's a lot of people in prison who has a lot of mental illness. And when you just throw them in the prison, they don't get no help.
Amongst other people that need help.
They get more charges. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They get more charges. They don't get no counseling. And then dealing with that traumatic experience, because there's a lot of suicide, you know, inmates killing themselves in prison. Going back to what Vincent said about this nut house, he's just crazy. Throw him away. So it's a very serious and delicate. It's nothing to play with. It's a very serious topic that we're talking about.
You're right.
And if you know anybody like this, bro, this ain't no fun and games, because it's people in our family suffering from this. Yeah. That's suffering in silence.
Right.
Yeah, because they feel like they can't, you know, don't have anywhere to go or whatever, man. Real quick, Vincent, man, we'll read this comment real quick, and I'm going to pass it over to you. Miss Savannah Eldridge said, racism also plays a role in why people do not seek treatment. They feel like the practitioners judge them. So, man, we talked about that earlier, right? You know how people don't kind of like, it's a system based upon a European system. So it's all of a sudden like, okay, do we have counselors that we can go to that can really understand our plight, understand how we get swept up on the rug, understand the post-traumatic slave disorder, understand the history, understand the negativity, understand the level of pain that we have gone through as people or whatever. So I think also when you do seek counseling, you definitely want to see somebody that understands your plight and what you're going through, because if not, then you're going to need counseling from going to counseling, right? So, Mr. Vincent Booker, the floor is yours, my brother.
Oh yeah, I was just because, and that's a great statement too, man. Because there is, it's imperative that we as a people get involved with what's going on with all facets of life, all facets of society, because of those situations like that. I myself personally, I have a fear of going into hospitals. I'm not getting no needles. I don't want no medicine. I don't want anything because I understand the history. I understand the